All right, hello, this is Omni Talk Retail. I'm Chris Walton.
And I'm Ann Mazinga.
And we are coming to you live from our very own video studio. And not even a podcast studio, we've upgraded it to a video studio.
This is basically TRL, but for retail.
That's right, we're doing it. We're at the VusionGroup's video studio, booth 5420. Stop by, check it out. And Ann, we've got an awesome guest to kick off the show. We've got David Guggina, goes by Dave, the EVP of Supply Chain at Walmart. Dave, thanks for being here, man.
Absolutely, happy to be here.
Yeah, we're so excited to have you. We were just saying before, we saw you on stage at Manifest last year, and it was one of the highlights of my year in conferences and being able to hear you speak so candidly on stage, and we're really excited to have you for the conversation now. Let's start at the beginning. Tell our listeners who you are and what your role includes at Walmart.
Oh, absolutely. So my name's Dave Guggina. I am the EVP of Supply Chain at Walmart for the Walmart US business. My role includes our import distribution, our inbound consolidation centers, DCs, FCs, over 100,000 associates across the US. And we're moving items to our stores and to customers' doorsteps and more frequently into their refrigerators.
And what's your background? Like, what led you to that role over time?
You know, my background is supply chain. I started in manufacturing with General Motors, was my first job in supply chain, and then spent some time in the brewing industry with Anheuser-Busch and really saw what automation, high levels of automation look like. And then I spent about a decade with Amazon, and have been with Walmart for the last 6 years.
Has it been that long? 6 years.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the big announcement that hit the newswire that we wanted to focus on today to start us off was we've been doing a lot around this idea of next generation fulfillment, opening a lot of next generation fulfillment centers. Can you tell the audience what those are and what those are all about as best you can in a few minutes?
Absolutely. So when I started with Walmart, I focused on product or the software that we were deploying in supply chain, as well as the automation, the robotics side, and so I've been involved in our next generation fulfillment program really from its inception.
Okay. Wow.
We today have 3 sites live that are considered next generation. And we're launching another.
What does next generation include, like in broad terms? Like, what are the components of that?
Internally we now call it, we're now on Gen 2, Gen 3.
Right.
But
way ahead,
what we've said,
it's the next gen.
Yeah, exactly. Originally it was moving from our legacy operations, which was a 12-step process, heavily manual, had automation in it, right? Shoe sorters and picking systems for Maltese. But now our next generation systems, they really take a 12-step process and they shrink it to just 5 steps. It's pretty incredible.
And what are the key pieces of that enable you to do that?
Key pieces are things like auto-receiving freight on the inbound side with 6-sided Cognex scanners. We then decant the goods into totes that are ingestible by an automated storage and retrieval system. We partner with a company named Guina, which you all probably
know them
familiar
very
with.
well,
So the totes enter the ASRS, and then once customers have demand, associates no longer have to walk or drive to bins to get goods. Right, our associates are walking 8 to 10 miles a day or driving if they're in a non-sort facility. And in these next generation facilities, really the artificial intelligence, the control systems inside the ASRS, they grab the goods and they retrieve them when customers have demand. And then those goods head to our picking stations, where over 70% of the time we pick directly into right-sized containers, shipping containers. So you all, I'm sure, get a lot of boxes at your home, hopefully Walmart boxes.
Yes.
But
just last week, actually, I did.
I spend a lot of time breaking down boxes. I'm sure our viewers do as well. That's one of my part-time jobs at home.
Yes.
So the right-sized technology, we can create a right-sized container. 600 an hour is our surge rate for those systems. And then we have multiple of these systems feeding our picking stations. But essentially, the goods come to the pick station. The right size container come and you literally pick the items directly into the shipping container. So then the last process is you just tape it shut, and there's an auto taper that we utilize, and then it heads to our shipping sorter and gets routed into hundreds of different sort locations to then head to downstream sortation nodes or directly into customers' homes.
Sounds very next gen. Maybe I'll hopefully get a chance to see it at some time.
Absolutely.
Dave, you've been doing this for a long time. What is the most fascinating part of it? I mean, you talk about like everything from like a tape, something that like automatically tapes the box. Like, is it the right size boxing? Because you can see when you're talking about it, that kind of gets you
When you walk
animated.
into the facility, I mean, you think you're in like Star Wars or something. You're in like a ship, because just
really
floor
clean.
to ceiling,
Yeah.
65 feet
Yeah.
of automated storage and retrieval system. You've got
Yeah.
over 1,800 shuttles traversing the system at any given time. That's pretty incredible, but
Yeah.
I do get most excited about the picking. The station is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Our associates absolutely love it. And then the right size packaging, and just marrying the right size containers and the goods at the same time for a specific customer's order. That is really what's, I think, pretty incredible about this system.
And it starts with the employees too. You got to design a system that they're going to want to use and love for them to get behind it, right?
Totally agree. So we started with a pilot facility years ago.
Oh, really? I didn't know
And
that.
we actually designed like 4 or 5 different workstations for both decanting and picking. And the reason we did that is we wanted feedback from our associates. You've probably heard our leaders talk about Walmart's a people-led, tech-empowered organization.
Yeah.
So we really think about how do we create jobs that allow our associates to bring them their best selves to work, right? Use their creativity, their problem-solving skills, their empathy for one another, and focus less on the physicality of the work and the repetitiveness of the work.
So smart. Well, speaking of your executives, we're going to have John Furner on later today.
Yeah.
We're going to be asking him about Walmart Plus. I have to ask you, because Chris and I have been on ops teams, what does it look like from the supply chain side of things to get that right before you start rolling that out to everyone and anyone?
Well, I have to start with just a Walmart Plus plug. So I love Paramount Plus on my Walmart
Big
Plus.
Yellowstone
Delta.
guy.
Big Yellowstone
like
fan.
waiting for
Big
the next
Yellowstone
season.
fan.
I'm
They
like
wouldn't
all
let me wear my
yeah.
cowboy hat in the interview, but so big Paramount Plus fan. I love the discounts I get on gas.
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
key too. Yeah.
We have horses. My wife rides horses, so we've got a diesel truck, and I'm telling you, filling that truck up is expensive. So when I get to go and get my discount, it's absolutely fantastic. But the biggest benefit of Walmart Plus is the scheduled delivery, the sub same day delivery, the same day delivery, the next day delivery, the 2-day delivery, and that's really where supply chain shines and where we come and help out.
What had to go on though behind the scenes before you had to launch that? Like, how were you testing it? How did your team specifically have to make sure that that was ready to go?
I would say that we've always been obsessed with delivering excellence for our customers, so there wasn't a whole lot of changes that W Plus brought from that standpoint.
Okay.
Because we focus on operating safely, we focus on our quality, our service for our customers. We are making sure that we're running efficient operations so that we can operate at everyday low cost, so that we can give everyday low prices. So I would say that, I wouldn't say we changed the way we were operating, but we're just putting a lot more focus and emphasis on better offerings for our W Plus members.
Okay.
Right, and that really often comes about in speed, right?
Okay.
And speed doesn't always mean faster. I think customers sometimes want to be time definite. Hey, I'm going to be
100%.
home on Wednesday. I want everything to show up on Wednesday.
Yep.
So for example, we've started allowing you to consolidate your orders and get those delivered all together rather than get those 3 different deliveries across the week.
We
Right?
should talk about that after. Yeah, that's something we've been very keen on. We just did a podcast on that last week, actually, with a company called Buncho. We should talk about that. But so it's interesting for you. So for you, it sounds like it was more of an evolution than a revolution. Supporting
Absolutely.
Walmart Plus was more in that vein than just something radically different.
At Walmart, the one constant is change, and we're constantly evolving and trying to adapt to customers' needs and wants. So we're still doing that with W Plus, but I would say we never stopped.
Yeah. And it's still a great, the other thing, I'll plug it, it's a great value too compared to the competition right now. It's like by far and away the best value out there. All right, last question, we'll get you out of here on this. AI, you know you're going to be asked about it 100 times.
Yeah.
Hopefully we're your first interview of the day, so we're the first ones asking you about it, so we'll get the most lengthy answer to it without you getting tired of answering it. But when you look at AI, and there's a lot of ways to slice AI, but what do you think are the 2 or 3 areas in which it will impact supply chain the most?
Yeah. Let me just give you some real life examples of how it's impacting our business, and then maybe I'll hit on the biggest piece at the end. So our team, we talk about how do we become an AI first supply chain team in everything we do.
Okay.
So one of our critical meetings for running our day-to-day business is our WBR, weekly business review. we started incorporating AI into that meeting. And the way we're doing it, I'll give 2 examples.
Yeah.
One is the way we talk about engaging with our people.
Okay.
At Walmart, we want folks to have, come in, get a good job, and it turn into a great career. I just promoted 2 officers this last week who started as hourly associates in either the stores or in supply chain, which is incredible.
Yeah.
So we want our jobs to be sticky. We want people to stay around. So we actually are utilizing an ML algorithm now that we review the output of in our weekly business review, and it looks at 90 different attributes that our associates, that impact our associates, like what shift they're working, whether they showed up early to work, late to work, whether their lead time to proficiency, all these different attributes about our associates, so that we can have conversations with them and prevent them from those reasons people leave.
Right, based on data, yeah.
So use it for objective dashboarding, then going to the WER and being like whatever the executive's focus point of the day happens to be, which no one's going to know, but now you know, okay, this has objectively been reviewed, let's focus on these metrics. Is that the right way to think about it?
Exactly, so in my business review, it's more objective looking across the network, but it goes all the way down to the frontline leader. Who do I need to go talk to today? There's a signal that Chris is his lead time to proficiency struggling, and you go and have that conversation, and then immediately Chris says, hey, I just need some help, I need some extra training, and you get that. And we have seen our attrition improve incredibly since implementing this system, and we just keep iterating upon it. We've done the same thing with productivity. I mean, how many supply chain leaders have you met? There's hundreds of metrics you could look at to drive efficiency within your business. It is the hardest part. So we're using these AI algorithms to surface the most important things, the things that we believe are driving you to be more efficient as a site, or the things that are driving you to be less efficient as a site.
So I want the audience to hear that, because like we just asked the leader of the supply chain at the biggest retail company in the world where he's using AI, and he's using it as a management tool first, folks. That is a really key piece of insight that everyone should take away right here at the start of NRF, I think.
Absolutely, yeah. It doesn't have to be the flashy stuff that people are going to be putting up on.
I mean, I'm so tired of hearing forecasting, like, right? Like, thanks, Dave. Like, but like, this is different. This is exactly why it's such a productivity enhancer.
Without a doubt.
That's where I was going next. You're right. Forecasting, inventory deployment, flow, channel decision, and we are doing that too.
Of course you are. But this is where you're finding the most value. That's cool. That's great.
Pretty cool.
At least the first thing that comes to mind, and that's wonderful. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Great.
Thanks again to our sponsors at VusionGroup for making our coverage of the show possible. Stop by booth 5420 to come check everybody out. There's a huge booth. We're in the back. We've got a little podcast studio. Come say hello. And until next time, be careful out there.